just relax for a second? There's no such thing as an Uncle Steve. That is an alien parasite.
But I've known him my whole life.
No, you haven't, Jerry. These telepathic little bastards, they embed themselves in memories, and they use those to multiply and spread out and take over planets. It's disgusting.
Steve wasn't real?
He's a real piece of shit. This is a big one. Somebody probably tracked it in last week on the bottom of their shoe or on a piece of alien fruit.
Someone?
Get off the high road, Summer. We all got pink eye because you won't stop texting on the toilet.
But Uncle Steve taught me how to ride a bike.
No, Steve put that memory in your brain so he could live in your house, eat your food, and multiply. We could be infested with these things, so we gotta keep an eye out for any zany, wacky characters that pop up.
This is the Uncle Steve podcast. This is the Uncle Steve podcast.
Join us on the podcast. Join us on the podcast.
It's Uncle Steve podcast.
It's Uncle Steve's podcast.
Uncle Steve podcast.
Join us on the podcast.
This is
Uncle Steve's podcast.
Uncle Steve's podcast.
Oh yeah, we gotta do the beer tasting party.
This is
Uncle Steve's podcast.
Uncle Steve's podcast. Hey everybody, it's Uncle Steve. Long time no hear, huh? Where you guys been? Lose my phone number? Happy to see everybody, hear from everybody. Everything's going good on my side. Welcome to the Uncle Steve podcast, Season 2, Episode 1, featuring Eric Johnson.
Be alright. Be alright. We could be looking at peace in the eye of the storm. Yeah. Be alright. When I saw back in the clouds in the morning. Be alright. Rise to the moment. Stick a time in the be alright. But the skies are the skies are white. Backslide. Backslide.
What's up?
Hey, Rumple Foreskin.
Rumple Foreskin. What's
How's it
going
going?
on?
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing?
Oh, good. Do you have me on speakerphone?
No, I'm actually sitting outside of my car.
Oh, you're
I'm over at Kira's house,
Oh,
but I figured I'd go outside for this.
is this still a good time for this? We could reschedule.
Oh no, I'm good, man. Like, how long do you think it's gonna be? Honestly, it could be a while.
It could be. We could do this in little multi segments. We could do this.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get into, like that questionnaire we talked about, that it could go on for a long time. I
Yeah.
found the best for me is to keep it short and sweet. So,
Sounds good.
all right. Well, let's go. If you're ready to go, let's.
I'm ready. I'm ready, Freddie.
So, it's been a while since I've done this. I've taken the summer off. I'm finding that there's just too much things to do outside to do this all summer long. But now I have a flock of geese coming through here.
Oh well, hey, I'm honored to be the first one of Uncle Steve podcast season 2. Then
Yeah, I guess it is.
Call
It's
this.
season 2.
We had a little hiatus.
Yeah,
Fun summer.
recharge. Yeah, make sure putting first things first kind of things. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so is there anything you want to say? This is, again, this Uncle Steve podcast. It's a family podcast. The audience is intended to be the family.
Right.
And,
right. Hi, family.
Hey, fam.
Whoever in the fam might be listening.
Yeah, well, we've got a big following in the family here. I know that everyone's been waiting and asking for this next
Oh,
episode.
I'm sure.
Yep.
This is going to be the episode that pops off. You're just going to
This
start
is the one.
getting them views coming in.
So, if there's anything you would like to say other than hello to the family, this is your chance.
I mean, yeah, I guess hello, family, and I'm happy to be here. And thanks, Uncle Steve, for having me. and I've actually listened to almost all your podcasts. I have a lot of time during work to just listen to whatever while I'm painting. So
Yeah, that's a good activity for podcasts, isn't it?
yeah, I was actually just listening to the one with my parents and Uncle Mike a little bit today. Not the whole thing, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that was a good one. Yeah,
that was definitely entertaining, I gotta say.
I enjoyed putting that one together. That was. Did you think that was a good idea? Should I pull up that?
Oh, I think it's a great idea. Honestly, I've been
Practicing?
I've done this test a couple times over the years, but I always thought it'd be fun to like go through it with someone else, and like discuss the answers.
Yeah, so I've done it before you emailed me or texted me
Okay,
a couple months ago maybe, and
same test. Or is it something similar?
it's similar. I don't know if it's the same. So I'm on the Political Compass. What is it? Yeah, politicalcompass.org. Is that what you sent me?
It sounds like it. I don't know just political compass test. I'm pretty sure that's it.
All right. For those of you that don't know, this is non-biased, you think?
Well, that's hard to tell, I guess.
I think it is biased, but I think it's hard to ask some of these questions without some kind of slant. But it's a test you take. I don't know how many. I think there's maybe 20, 30 questions you ask, and then they put you on a chart. What would you call that chart?
Well, there's 4 quadrants, I guess, of the chart.
Right.
And from up to down, all the way up is authoritarian, and all the way down is libertarian. And then they have left to right. I guess that would just be more like maybe on the economic scale of things or the social issues. But I guess that would also apply to the up and down too. So I guess so the top left quadrant would be right or left wing authoritarian, and then it'd be right wing authoritarian, or left or right wing libertarian would be the other two.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that chart to see what those categories are. In essence, it measures based on your answers to the questions they offer. It bases how right wing or how left wing you are, and it's a kind of a 4 position. If you're smack dab in the middle of these 4 quadrants, you're, I guess, the most ultimately.
You could either stand for everything or stand for nothing. It's hard to tell.
All right, so I've got the questions here.
Okay.
Here's the first one.
Alrighty, let's do it. We're gonna both do this, right?
Yeah, I would say we just ask the questions, and I'll try to remember how I answered, but I'll give you what I feel today, and then I'm sure we'll quickly get into some discussions here. So here's number one.
Sure.
If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interest of transnational corporations.
I would strongly agree with that.
Yeah, so the categories here are strongly disagree, disagree, agree, and strongly agree.
Yes.
So you said you would strongly...
Yeah, it's basically saying I prioritize
your answer.
Of all humanity over the big corporations.
But so your answer was strongly agree.
Yes, I would strongly agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree, and I would stay away from strongly because I would want to know. This is where my brain goes. We've heard this in other podcasts. What is the definition of a transnational corporation? So, how would you define that?
I guess it would be a corporation doing business all around the world in different nations. Transnational corporation, right?
So this
I don't know what would that refer to though, like oil companies.
I would imagine it's a cross section of industries and
right.
So let's go back to the question. It should primarily serve humanity rather than the
Yes.
interest of, I'll just say corporations, because let's try to break it down. So how would it serve humanity? A corporation serve humanity?
Well, a corporation would serve humanity by, well, it would depend on the corporation, of course. That's a
Let's
complicated
pick,
question.
yeah, so this is where let's pick one. So
Okay.
let's go oil or whatever you want, but let's just pick one.
Okay, sure. Well, I mean, obviously the business that it provides is serving humanity. So I mean, but it's also serving their interests as well. So I guess, I don't know, it would be
why would somebody go into business, start a corporation? What would be their motivation?
well, their motivation would be to better themselves. It would be a selfish motivation, of course, to make money. Maybe not even selfish per se, make money for yourself, create jobs,
do you feel like
create
the
a
word
service.
Do you feel like the word selfish is has a negative connotation, that's a bad thing to be selfish?
No, definitely not. Not always. I feel like you could be selfish while being altruistic as well. It's not necessarily one or the other,
Do you know Ayn Rand?
Yes. Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, she's
a Russian libertarian.
yeah, and
Yeah.
she's vehemently. What's the word? Vehemently
Vehemently, yes. Yeah. Vehemently.
against altruism, right? She's
Absolutely.
to
She's
do
very-
something for the good of others, just for the good of others, is, I'll paraphrase, bullshit for her. Like, if it brings you happiness, if it selfishly brings you joy and happiness, then it's a worthwhile effort. But to do it just because you're helping others, she's I don't know if against that is the right way of phrasing that, but
Yeah.
that kind of sums her up for me. There's more to her than that, but
I feel like she has she follows the great man mentality a little bit. Like, like the majority of people are, how would I put that? I guess, she prioritizes the businessman and the successful people, and doesn't look out for the little man as much, I guess would be an easy way to put that.
let me try to describe the same thing. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not articulating it as well as I.
Well, I had a hard time too. But my question: why would somebody want to start a corporation? It's not usually to serve humanity, although that could be part of it. But
Yeah,
selfishly, I would think to be successful and have create income and profit to live a life of luxury and pleasure.
Yes.
And that would be the motivation for that. And that if you try to artificially control that by insisting that somebody that starts a corporation, this is very generic, has to serve humanity in the process, and you have third parties dictating what that means, it takes the incentive away from somebody to do that, and it takes away from the greater good of the whole society.
Okay.
As I think what she would agree with, that you have to have freedom to allow individuals, the creative, productive people, to be productive and profitable so that they can generate the luxuries for the masses.
Right.
I didn't say that real well, but
I would say, I guess, obviously that's their personal motivation, is to create profit. But in that, the service that they're providing with the oil company in this example should also be in the end goal, I guess, would be to serve humanity. That's why it is a really nuanced question, I guess.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to say strongly agree to that, although I feel strongly.
Right.
I would answer right
world,
in the
all
middle.
the corporations would be serving humanity because they're offering a service. So
Yeah,
I guess
if humanity doesn't like the service, they're not going to be succccessful. Is the
Right.
general
Right.
idea, free market idea.
the market's gonna work that all out. At to a point though. I mean, that can also a completely free market can is on the other end of things. The corporations, if you just let them do whatever they want, they have to have some kind of restrictions on them.
Agreed. So that's
That's a
where
nuanced conversation within itself, depending on the industry, and that gets into all sorts of other things. But
all right, let's move on. That's a long one. So I'm
Yeah.
going to skip around here. This one should be a little lighter. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it.
I'm gonna agree. I guess not strongly agree. I'm leaning towards that though, but I would say agree. It's not, you didn't. I guess there's not a problem with being proud of your country.
Well, you're saying you're foolish to be proud of it. So you are saying it's wrong.
Okay. I would say, yeah. No, I did just say that.
All right.
I guess it's foolish to be personally proud, like that you have done something to that. Like for instance, like you can be proud that of our country. Looking at history, saying that we fought the Nazis in World War II, for example, or something like that.
Yeah.
But then also, I feel like a lot of people they talk in terms of like, oh, we did that, or we like they had a part in it personally or something.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I guess to explain that more, it would be foolish to feel personally proud, like you had something to do with it. But I mean, I can also understand people having national pride, especially like something like Russia and Ukraine, when Ukraine's country is getting attacked, by
of course.
basically a fascist dictator, and they're just trying to, protect their own. And I feel like, a little bit of nationalism, a little bit of nationalistic pride in that instance might help them out and keep up their spirits.
With any of these questions, it's how far do you take it? So
Right.
there's also people that will have, because let's take this example. Say I'm born in Germany, and I didn't choose that, but I happen to be born in Germany, and I happen to be. I am not. I have to watch how I say this.
Sure.
This is only for example. That let's say that I am agreed with the Nazi platform, and
Sure.
I'm proud of that. Well,
Right.
I think most people would say, well, that would be foolish to be proud of that aspect of it. But I think
Sure.
in the way this question is asked, again, it just dabbles around the edges. It never gets to it.
Well, exactly.
I think it's important that a country has its identity, and the people in that society are proud to be a part of it, and they want to improve it and contribute to it. And so I would say I would disagree with that question on the same kind of reason that you're agreeing with it.
Okay. I guess I can totally understand where you're coming from too. So, I'm still going to stick with agree though.
Yeah, I get it. You got to pick one.
I mean, I feel like what your country has done doesn't relate to like your personal accomplishments. Like you didn't have any personal hand in that. So I feel like that's kind of the way in which they're asking it. I mean, I might be interpreting it wrong, but sure. Let's stick with agree.
Oh, here's a good one, I think. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea.
Ooh. Karl Marx, communism.
Very good.
Let's see here. So I guess what he's saying in that is what? Is from each according to his ability, each according to his needs. So is he saying that if people do a job, the job that somebody does in a society is, if they're chosen or choose that job to the best of their ability in a functional system, in the communist system he was talking about, everybody in theory should be able to be provided for their needs.
Yeah, I would say that a little different. I think you got it, that it doesn't matter what you do for work or what your needs are. So you may be a lowly employee somewhere where you do mundane tasks for menial amounts.
The proletariat.
And then on the contrary, there's a successful businessman who generates a lot of income and has very little needs, say like health needs or it doesn't matter. It should be all leveled out, and there should be equality amongst all the people there to live. Whether you're a garbage man or you're a CEO of a corporation, that unbalanced should be leveled out, and you should earn relatively the same amount of money and have the same amount of compensation, or your needs should be met on an equal basis, I think is really the spirit of that.
Right.
Tax the rich,
right.
welfare for the poor.
Like everybody would be making an equal income, whether they're a top surgeon or, like you said, a garbage man. And I definitely don't agree with that. I'd say there are more skilled jobs than others. And
again, back to what we were talking about. Where does that take the incentive to go out and work harder then? If you're just going to get the same thing the other guy that doesn't work as hard gets, then why not just work less?
Well, right, and that's like one of the reasons that it's never actually worked out for any country, like a full communist system like that. In a way, I mean, there's countries that call themselves communists that are successful in their own ways, I guess, like China. I mean, as a country, they're like a major superpower. But I would say that they're not even truly communist. They're also capitalistic in a way. I mean, they're part of the global economy. So, I mean, I guess I think that the needs of like the bare minimum should be met for people, though, at least.
Healthcare.
Yes.
Education.
Yes, healthcare, education. There should be a higher minimum wage for sure. There should be protections for the workers and the I don't even want to say unskilled workers, because all work requires some skill, but
do you know who Milton Friedman
I feel
is?
there should be protections for people not to get taken advantage of too far to the point.
Do you ever heard of Milton Friedman?
I have heard the name very many times. I'm not exactly sure who that is.
Thomas Sowell.
What's that?
Thomas Sowell.
Thomas Sowell.
These are.
I mean, I know these names.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Conservative economists, I think, right?
Well, they're economists. I guess you would categorize them as conservative because of their outspoken against the minimum wage, and have very strong arguments for that. Maybe I'll sneak in a little bit of them here when I mix this down here. But
okay, sure.
Their question is, what if somebody's skill level isn't worth the amount that the minimum wage is arbitrarily set at? What do you do with those people?
those people whose skill level isn't worth what the minimum wage is set at. Well, I mean, what do we do with those people now?
The government makes it illegal to hire them. So
Sure.
So what do you do with that?
Well, I guess those people need to get taken care of to a certain point.
So they go on the government dole.
Yeah.
To each to their need.
If somebody's actually like mentally or physically unable to perform the tasks that you require, like through no fault of their own.
So let's say I am a business owner and I own a little shop. Let's say it's a hardware store, and I need somebody to keep inventory on my nuts and bolts.
Okay.
But the government says that I have to pay somebody $18 an hour, or I can't hire them.
Sure.
But there's somebody in my neighborhood that wants the work, is willing to do the work for less than that. But I'm not authorized. I'm not allowed to hire them.
Okay.
So they don't get a job then, or I break the law to hire them and pay them under the table.
So your business, I guess, isn't. I guess okay. Then your business, I guess, I would say, if it can't turn a profit based on like the positions that it hires people for like less than a living wage, even. I'm not talking $18 an hour either.
Yeah, okay.
Because right now, federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Now I know there's only 2 or 3% of people that are working for that low, but 2-3% of workers, that's people that are making $7.25 an hour. Now that's like ridiculously low, like beyond poverty wages. And when they make that little, then they are eligible for government handouts or whatever you want to call it. And so if the companies were forced, I'm going to say forced too, to make a higher, to pay higher wages, at least, the bare minimum of what a living wage is, like, let's say $15. Let's say even, meet in the middle, like $12.50 an hour. Like, I feel like the minimum wage should be raised.
What do you base that on? Why do you feel that way?
Cost of living, I guess. Based on what do they put the poverty line at right now?
Do you think that stimulates growth, business growth in a society?
I feel like, yeah, because the business market is competitive. And, of course, business owners are always going to be trying to save as much money as they can. But at a certain point, if your company is unable to survive or be profitable, without paying somebody a bare minimum living wage, that company probably shouldn't exist.
So there should be less companies and less people employed?
No.
Oh.
No, I shouldn't. I didn't say that.
I know you didn't. Let's move on. The freer the market, the freer the people.
Oh, that's a. I'm gonna say disagree. Kind of for a lot of the same reasons. I mean, the freer the market, let's take that to the extreme. Like a complete, I don't know what would you call it? Anarcho-capitalism, where any company can charge whatever they want, do whatever they want, free reign, pay their employees as little as possible, require as much overtime as they want, full free reign on everything. I feel like there needs to be some restrictions because people have been known to exploit, especially the lowest paid members of our society. And I mean, if somebody's working for $7.25 an hour, I mean, I feel like in the richest country in the world, we can do better than that. And I know that's lower than that. But I mean, I don't want a completely free market. No, that would be completely free. Anything is not good. You know, I mean, it's just going to go to anarchy. But the business people. I'm not really explaining it as well.
No,
as
you are. I hear you. I'm letting you go here. So, yeah, obviously, I think most reasonable people would agree that there is a need for some regulation.
Right.
And that's the problem with this kind of question there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 words in a question that leads is such a big discussion there. You would have to know, what do you mean by, what's the definition of freer?
Right.
I
mean, I guess the freer the market, the freer the people. But what people? I mean, some people are going to be less free, and others will be more free because of that. So.
Yeah. So I think a good example of this right now, and this might be a little controversial, but so the many states are deciding to legalize marijuana.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so since I've been alive, it's been illegal, and yet I've known about it since I've been a young adult, through adulthood. Here, it's been available, and the market is there. If somebody wants, they can find it, and there's prices set. There's a whole market for that there. Now the government's getting involved, and what's happened to that market since the government's been involved? Not that you would know firsthand. I'm not saying that you would know firsthand. I'm just saying that in general, it's become regulated, right?
Yep.
Which is a good thing. Most people would agree. What has happened to costs?
Well, that depends. I feel like overall costs have gone down because of that.
Yeah, so it's hundreds of dollars to get this license from a reputable doctor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then when you go to the market, you now are paying, in my opinion, exorbitant prices for the product.
Okay.
However, the quality has definitely improved.
Yes.
And that's a positive.
Absolutely.
This is from what I read, Eric. I don't know this.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Well, I mean, same here.
So I find that as a good real world example in my lifetime. See something that was
sure, illegal, underground, whatever you want to call it. Sure.
Kind of like during Prohibition times when alcohol was illegal. There was still alcohol, and you could still get it. There was a market there. It wasn't regulated,
right?
Or it was, and not all that was positive for sure. It created an underworld, but
exactly.
I don't even
Same
know.
thing that the pot prohibition created. You know, I mean, like, I feel like it contributed to a rise in crime and and it still is because it's still prohibited in so many states, including this one. But yeah, I mean, think of how many lives it's destroyed too. How many people have gone to jail for so long, just like.
Oh boy, we don't want to touch this one, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I think there's a couple in here we shouldn't get into. Want me to ask it?
And should we?
Okay, I'll go.
Let's do the juicy ones.
Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal.
Oh, here we go. I strongly disagree.
Okay. I'm not.
You don't want to expound on that?
It says always, so I can't answer. I will disagree with that.
Okay.
But I can't strongly disagree with that because always is too extreme. That's why, where I fell in this chart, right?
Oh yeah, I saw it. You were, yep.
Very moderate. This is very reasonable.
You were just over the center of right.
Yeah. But, if we could talk more about it, you would hear that I probably would come across more right-winger if we could talk about these things, but
Okay.
people don't. This is like social media now. People don't have time or patience for that. They just want the quick
They just
sound
want the
bite.
quick-
You know, the
Quick soundbite, quick
yeah.
answers.
If you
Yep.
if you
Well, that's what this is for. We're having a
yeah, a little bit.
nice little
Sure.
nuance, breaking these things down a little.
How about this one? Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory.
I disagree with that. I think that kids should have to go to school and get an education.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but
no, I don't know if I mean it's
I
your
think
opinion.
most countries do that. I mean, I think that's always been the case for.
So I think over the years, when I grew up, things were a little less flexible. And when my kids were going to school, it started to change where the educators were saying that, well, people learn in different ways. So not everybody learns in the same way. And I've found that to be true for me, certainly. I'm very visual. If somebody's just talking to me, I'm probably not going to get as much out of that as if somebody can show me while they're explaining to me. And I don't know if that's everybody. I'm sure math is a great example of that. There's so many different ways to do simple math now that many of it doesn't make sense to me. But the one that clicks for me is the one that I'm glad somebody shared with me. And maybe the one that they've been forcing down everyone's throat for generation after generation didn't work for a percentage of kids or people.
Sure.
And exposing them to different methods, the new math is what they call it when my kids were
Talking about
coming up.
Common Core?
What's that?
You talking about Common Core?
I don't know what that. Sorry, I don't know what Common Core means, but it's just the term I can relate to is new math. It was like a different way of doing the same old math that I was taught.
Exactly. Yep. That's Common Core. I'm not too familiar with it, but I know that's what they call it. It's like a new way they start teaching.
Yeah, you can find it on TikTok. All of a sudden, some little girl is doing math in some weird way, comes out with the right answer every time, and it makes sense to her, and she can do it now. Where the other way didn't make sense, and it became frustration and caused anxiety, and
Yep.
all that other stuff. So there's good and bad to it, but it's
Right. I mean, I feel like different kids would respond differently to depending on how their brain works. I mean, so
classroom attendance doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to work for everybody, I guess is what I would tend to disagree with that.
okay, so you're thinking like they shouldn't even like have to attempt to learn it though?
Again, the sentence has schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. To me, that sounds like you have to be there or you can't learn.
Well, they're not saying you can't learn, just that you have to be there. And I mean, maybe you're going to struggle with certain things and excel in other things. There's lots of different things they teach you in different methods, different classes. And I feel like it's important for people to be exposed to that. And even if their brain doesn't work exactly in that way, at least they're learning the basics, I mean, like the things that they're going to need to succeed in the world, like just
but they're saying, Eric,
basic arithmetic,
classroom attendance. So you can't. Could somebody learn being homeschooled?
Yeah, they could, of course. I mean, I was,
of course,
I was homeschooled. They can, yes, and in certain cases, I feel like a small percentage of cases that would be, good. But that also depends on the parents doing the homeschooling, what the reasons would be for that.
There's all that, yeah.
That opens up a whole nother can of worms.
It is. Back to regulations, you gotta, yes, this can work. We shouldn't close the door on it, but it also could be a really bad thing in some situations. It should be regulated,
Right. Well, if you're talking about leaving out options for homeschooling, I think that should be an option. Yeah. I think that there should be more. I feel like a lot of parents that decide to homeschool their kids aren't personally qualified to do so, as well as a school would be. And I'm not saying everyone, obviously, but a lot of them. And that I feel like some kids are going to miss out. I've actually known a lot of kids. They did not get an adequate education based on that, and now as adults, they're suffering in the real world.
Yeah, so
Working
you sound
real
like
jobs.
you sound like
because
you're
their parents
starting
wanted
to.
to keep them homeschooled for maybe religious reasons, maybe to protect them from bad influences, whatever, you know. But the parents themselves weren't. And I'm just talking, in general. Those parents might not be completely equipped in all the ways that a teacher who specializes in that would be. So I'm not saying it's perfect for everyone. I'm just saying I think it would be, in general, overall, better. And the kids who do struggle in that, I mean, they have special ed classes. They have classes for the gifted students. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, that's a whole other subject.
Right.
Time goes so fast for kids that by
Yeah.
the time if you're in the margins, the gifted kids will get what they can get, but the kids that are struggling, like right in between, that are barely getting it, there's really no program to help them along. I think a lot of kids get hung up in that, and
We, meaning like the government, I guess, it should fund the schools better. And I think they should base it on something other than the property taxes of that area that funds the public schools. Because, then that just creates more disadvantages for people who are already financially disadvantaged. If their schools aren't getting as much funding, well, obviously they're not going to get as good of an education. And that for like areas of people in poverty, that's going to continue that then for them.
a cycle a repeating cycle, generation
Right.
after generation.
Exactly. And I feel like that's what's happened, to a certain extent, but, I don't have all the answers on how they would fix that or how they would,
All right, let me throw this next one at you. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support.
I think they should still get some support, like a bare minimum.
Yeah, see, again, the problem with the question, it doesn't give you that leeway.
But
there.
society's support
Should
sure,
not
they're
expect
gonna-
society's support, so it doesn't say like a
Does that
little
mean,
bit,
like,
a little bit. you know?
money. Does that mean just people trying to help them get a job?
Exactly. Yeah. What does support mean to you?
Right. Like, I don't think people should just be able to be completely lazy and fuck off and not do anything, and expect to get the same as somebody who's working hard for that. But I feel like on a bare minimum level, I feel like people shouldn't be homeless. They shouldn't be starving, So I guess I would say disagree, but only slightly.
All right. A little change of pace. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes.
No, I disagree.
Let's bring him up.
Let's bring it up, okay?
Darrell Brooks.
Well, let's hear. Well, first of all, do you agree or disagree?
I agree. I think.
Okay, you think it should be? Okay.
Yes, I think the death penalty is a necessary evil. Yep.
Okay. And I guess the reason I would disagree would be because there's a few things. There have been a lot of people that have been exonerated through DNA evidence that got executed by the state. and I don't know what the percentage is, okay, but it's been a substantial amount of people like that have been found to be innocent, and they were executed. So there's obviously no coming back from that.
Eric, let me ask you, because I don't know, and I'm not trying to be controversial or put you on the spot, but can you name one? Who?
I can't name any names now.
I'm sure it's happened.
I can get that info to you later. But
yeah, let's do that, because that would be interesting, and I'm sure it's happened. I don't know how after somebody's been put to death, how they would even know that, but. Yeah, that's probably unfair of me to even ask you that, and I should probably do my research before.
No, yeah, that's fine. I mean, yeah, neither.
But I wonder. Sure. Yeah, it's not a perfect system, any of it.
Because a lot of arguments people would bring up is why would we spend our money to, for this person to stay alive in prison and all the money that it costs to feed them and house them and blah blah blah. But when you look at it, the way they do executions, it actually costs more money to go through all the legal fees and all the different paperwork and all the different things they have to clear to go over to execute somebody. I think it's like over $1 million per person. I'm not going to say an exact number because I'm not sure exactly, but I've heard that it's actually more expensive to execute somebody than just keep them alive in prison the rest of their life.
Well, that definitely gets into how that's done, right?
Right.
So if it's going to take 50 years to put somebody to death, then you're probably right. But I think many people would argue it should happen the next week, which obviously is unrealistic as well. But
well, yeah, because they need to have their trial. They need to have.
I know I'm being extreme
day
here.
in court and all that. I mean, it can't be expedited that quickly.
Have you watched the recent trial at all?
Oh, the Darryl Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was definitely entertaining. I watched a lot of those clips.
Eric, I need to take. Eric. Eric.
Yeah.
I need a 2-minute break. Can I take one?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Take just 1 second.
It's all good. Take your time.
All right.
All right.
I'm seriously, what do y'all think about this? Hey, baby, get some bubble gum in this motherfucker. Study long, study wrong.
So how are things, and just in general? What's new, man? Where are you working?
Oh man, I started working for a new company about 4 months ago, I'd say.
Okay.
Different painting company. So it's basically the same work I've been doing for the last 6-7 years. Just some different guys I'm working for.
What is it? Let's tell the family. What is Eric doing these days?
Okay. Well, I'm a painter. I do residential and commercial painting. Mostly interior. Lately, we've been doing some exterior jobs, and it might be anything from a big school or a little bar. Right now, we're doing a big storage facility, just painting the exterior, power washing, scraping, painting, a lot of spraying, a lot of taping up, a lot of.
So let's advertise a little bit. There's people in the family that are trying to buy houses and have bought condos. And,
okay.
I'll need a touch up here and there. Do you do side jobs?
I mean, I haven't been doing many side jobs, but I'm always open, always looking.
Well, that's one of the things.
But I mean, I'm definitely able to. I have some freedom. I can.
So you're saying freedom is good?
Yes, freedom is great. I'm gonna go on the record as pro freedom.
Yeah, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be good. I bought a condo 4 years now. Has it been?
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe. And yeah, I had some painting done, and I didn't even know. I knew you painted, but I guess I didn't think that. Say, hey, I should check with Eric, and maybe you would have said, I don't do side jobs, But that would have been cool with me too. But Katie's trying to buy houses, and the market's still pretty weird. I'm sure we're not the only ones in the family that need a painter.
Hey, well, anyone in the family or anybody listening, I will offer very competitive rates.
Nice. So you won't be doing it for free? To each by their need?
Each according to their ability, yes.
To your ability, according to my need?
The ability is there. The need, though, is
who do you? This is my big political question when we get into those things. Who do you put in charge of making these decisions? As a kid, we vote for these people. We have an election coming up. If you haven't heard, you haven't turned on the TV and
I have heard.
Yeah,
just a couple commercials here and there.
A couple. Who are we going to put in charge of determining whose need is worth whose effort? That's where it always comes down to for me. I'm compassionate. I want to see my fellow man do well, and if he's struggling, I want to give him a helping hand, and he doesn't always have to pull himself up by his bootstraps. But the problem that
it's literally impossible. That's the joke of the whole thing. People say pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but that's sort of a
oxymoron,
right? I don't know about oxymoron. Just
stress the moron.
Absurd statement. I'd say. I mean, like by definition, you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I mean.
Well, see, I would want a definition. We should have that at a family party. See if anyone can do it. We'd like to see somebody pull themselves up by their bootstraps tonight, just to.
That would be an incredible feat.
What can you pull yourself up by then, if not your bootstraps?
Oh, that is a good question.
Sounds like a good song lyric. What can you pull?
A perfect title for a song.
Yeah, what can you pull yourself up by if it ain't your bootstraps?
You gotta bust in bootstraps. You gotta bust in bootstraps. Hey, let me help you. Wanna bust in bootstraps? Yeah. Gotta bust in bootstraps.
All right. How about dreams? Do you dream in your sleep?
I do dream. I don't always remember my dreams.
Nobody always remembers them, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'll
go through periods where I don't remember any of my dreams, and then I'll go through really every few months, I'd say it.
Do you have any reoccurring idea or dream?
Yeah, I guess I do. I always have reoccurring themes in my dreams where I'm attempting to find something that I lost or get back somewhere I need to be in time.
And you can never get there and find it or find it?
Exactly. It's always an impossible challenge.
And you wake up feeling exhausted, like you never slept at all?
Exactly. And I'll I'll be in a building and I'll be trying to find my way out, and I'll be going around the same place 10 times, just looking and
climbing up and over stuff,
shit over and over again.
Climbing up and over stuff and under stuff, and for me, that's I have a place I used to work in Waukesha. It's torn down now, but I walk through that foundry all the time, and I can never get to where I'm going. And then I got to climb up over this machine, and then I see these guys that I used to work with, and it's like, well, and I'm trying to get somewhere, but I never get there, ever.
Yeah. You ever have to fight in your dream?
I don't think so.
When I'm never able to do it.
You can't swing.
if I have to punch somebody,
Yeah. You're in
or
a
if I
phone
have to
booth.
run away from something, or if I have to chase after something, it's like molasses. Like it's
Do you know
like
why?
everything is working against me. Like let's say I'm trying to hit something, or hit somebody back, or to
Right.
defend myself.
Yeah.
Like my fist is just frozen. And
Do you
the
know
more I
why?
try, the harder it is.
Do you know why?
I have no clue.
I have the answer.
You have the. Oh my God. Okay. Let's hear it.
This is for everybody in the whole family.
Okay. Yeah. Of course.
It's because you're sleeping. You're probably sleeping on your arms, and you can't throw a punch,
Yeah, but I mean, in your mind. I mean, okay.
So
I
let me
fly in my dreams. That's a reoccurring thing, and it's been recent over the last few years.
Yeah.
How
do you do it? Do you like the breaststroke? How do you?
Well, okay, there's two different ways I do it, okay? Sometimes I can just jump around and it's low gravity, like I'm on the moon or something, but I can just propel myself up from the ground, and I'll go up and it'll be very vivid, and I can see everything around me, maybe like a half mile up into the sky. It's a weird thing. It's like I have to flex the muscles in my head, like in my ears, and that will keep me suspended for a certain amount of time.
Like
and
when
then
you
I'll slowly
yawn?
float down to the ground. And as I start falling quickly to the ground, I start fluttering my arms really fast, like a bird. And it's almost like I'm swimming. And it slows me down enough where I can make a safe landing.
Well, that's very detailed.
Yeah.
When I fly, it's like I can do the breaststroke. It's not like Superman, up, and away, and
Oh, yeah.
no, it's like I'm breaststroking, and I can, every stroke I make, I shoot up 10 feet or whatever, and I do it, and then I can glide around when I get up there.
Right, but you only stay up in the air for a little while, right? And then you start falling, or can you
I've never
against the water?
I don't think I've ever dreamt of landing, only flying.
Whoa, see, yeah, in my dreams, I'm landing and I'm jumping up again, and I'm trying to get higher and higher.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing, I'll be doing it in front of people, just like
yeah, I'm like,
scenario.
yeah, right. I'm at work or I'm at the mall, and I'm just flying
my
around.
Mom and Dad will be sitting around, and maybe you'll be there or something.
Yeah.
And
why are you guys
I'll be
sitting
like,
around?
hey, you guys, check this out. You won't believe this. And I'll jump up in the air, and I'll do like a flip around a tree, and I'll slowly glide back down to the ground. And I'll be like, isn't that awesome? I'll be expecting some crazy reaction. Everybody's just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, see, it's the opposite for me. When I do it, it's just like everybody should know that, yeah, I fly. And I'm not showing off. And I got to get out of here, guys. I'm out of here. So I fly.
They already know. They're just like, oh, I see.
Yeah,
Steve. He's
nobody's
flying away.
surprised. I'm not surprised. It's not cool. It's just what I do.
Yeah, see, with me, I'm always trying to show off to everybody, and I'm like, hey, look at this, isn't this crazy? They couldn't be less interested, and they're just like, oh yeah, so what, whatever.
So you seek acceptance through your dreams, then?
I guess maybe that's what that means.
I don't know. That's bullshit, I think. Food. Anything you want to talk about food?
Food.
Have you had a good taco? Where's the last time you had a truck taco, and where?
Oh man, last week. During work. Where was this now? Somewhere in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
Well, I used to order them corn all the time. I have to be honest. I like the flour tortillas. To me.
Oh man, I definitely love the flour. I mean, if I'm going to Qdoba or Chipotle or something like that, I'm always ordering the flour. But if I'm going to an actual taco truck, like authentic tacos.
Yeah, I know. Authentic. Just like Mama used to make, right?
Yeah.
All right, give me one. I'm going to type a sentence. Give me a statement about what you're going to do at a taco stand, and I'm going to type it into Google Translate, and we'll record how they say it in Spanish.
Okay.
Negrita de mis pesares, ojos de papel volando, negrita de mis pesares, ojos de papel volando.
No, señor, mi gusto pedre un taco del palo y burrito de cerdo Dios de chimichanga de res.
That sounded perfect.
Did it? I would
sure
love
there's
to.
no,
I would love to get an evaluation of that.
Oh, I watch a lot of movies. Watch a lot of shows too, actually.
What's the funnest movie you've seen recently?
You know, the only movies I've seen in the theater, like recently that I can think of, are like the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
Like
those are
the
good
big-
movies.
The big name movies, basically. You know what? I just finished watching the Dahmer.
Oh, there's a
Dahmer.
topic. There you go. See, here's another case for the death penalty.
Okay, sure.
Oh,
Well,
what
I
do you
guess
mean?
that kind of
Wait.
worked itself out. In that
what do you
case.
mean? Sure. Okay. Yeah. Sure. What do you mean by that?
Well, I still wouldn't. Okay, like in his case, I feel like sure I wouldn't really care if they killed him. Okay, like, but is that necessary, or do you just keep him in jail alive?
Do you prefer the way it happened rather than the state doing it?
Well, do I prefer it personally? Like,
Yes.
I mean, you know, screw that guy. He can. Whatever happened to him, he had coming. Sure.
So
I don't think it's a place of the state to execute people. I just think it's a better, even something as horrible as that.
you'd rather the free market did it?
Well, I guess in that case, that's what happened, isn't it? No, not the free market. I don't think that should be a thing. I just don't think they should be executing people. Even in a case like that, where it was like clearly he did it, you know, there was no question. I still think, just as a basic rule, we shouldn't be executing people. We should just be keeping them locked up, keeping them away from society so they can't do any more harm. But I don't know, it just seems like a more humane system. Okay, what good does killing that person do? I guess is what I would say. Like what is that helping?
So that leads you down the road of all the financial things that you already debunked, right?
Well, I didn't quite, but I could actually probably find.
Yeah, I'm giving you that.
info
Yeah.
shows that it's actually more expensive in the way that they do it to execute somebody
Agreed.
than
In the
to
way
just
that
keep them alive the rest of their life in prison.
did you
Like,
hear? You said
substantial difference.
in the way that they do it.
Yeah, in the process
That's
that they
the-
have to go
that's the
through in order
crux
to
of
go
the
through
biscuit.
lethal execution for somebody, or a lethal injection.
Agreed. Yeah, that to me that's the most humane, right?
Oh no.
What
There's a
is?
big thing on that. Okay, so there's, and I'm just kind of talking off the top.
Yeah.
I don't know the names of the drugs or exactly the effects,
Of course not.
but from like a basic understanding, they give you at least 2, it might be 3 different drugs. Okay, the first one they give you, it paralyzes you. You're just unable to move or respond to anything. But in most cases, you're still completely conscious and able to feel pain and able to go through all that suffering. Then the second drug they give you, they shoot right into your veins, and it causes, I guess, like a great amount of pain, burning sensation, whatever this chemical is going through your veins. You go through lots of like intense pain and suffering. And there's been a lot of botched executions too that have gone wrong, where it took hours and hours of torturing this person.
Yeah, I saw
Get
Green
the
Mile.
job done. Like it's like horrific shit. So I would say it's probably way less humane than just even like a what do they call that? A shooting squad, or there's much more humane ways to do it. I feel like lethal injection is actually one of the more inhumane, torturous ways of getting that done.
I agree with all the points you made. Like, what does it really serve? It gives
What's the utility?
closure to the victims, and in some cases, I think it's the just most expedient thing to do. It's not the most humane thing to do, but it's just a necessary evil. And I have that same answer for other reasons for putting people or allowing people to have death. Are you gonna decide that for everybody?
Well, no, I'm not personally. No.
So would you elect somebody to decide that for everybody?
Well, I would elect somebody that would not want to share that for everybody. Basically, like I would vote for the person. Like if this was the only issue, you know, like I would be on the anti-death penalty side. You know.
Agreed.
Yellowtail Sangria. If you're looking for a good time to relax and drink some tasty, refreshing beverage, you need go no further than your local Piggly Wiggly, Sentry, Pick and Save, perhaps even Sendix. Pour yourself a nice fruity fresh drink of beautiful Australian Yellowtail Sangria. It's here waiting for you. It's here waiting for you. It's here waiting. I've been on a kick of IPAs.
I'm not a fan, to be honest. I can muscle down any 16-ounce cold beer, but the IPA is, you know, I love grapefruit, but I don't like it in my beer.
I hear you. It's an acquired taste, you know. It's got a real
that's so highbrow. So highbrow.
Pine needle kind of taste to it, like a real pungent.
It's a kick. Yeah, it's a kick in the stuff. You know, it's like, okay, you're drinking a beer now. You know, straighten up your back. Let's get this done.
Right. It almost seems like a chore.
Well, yeah, it's not like I could just slouch down
through this here
in your beanbag chair and slurp this Bud Light down, you know.
Right,
You're going to have to get after this one a little bit and get it done. I always thought when somebody said it's an acquired taste, I always wanted my middle fingers come up right away, like, fuck you. No, I don't like it. It's not you're better, you know better than me because you like jazz music and I don't like jazz music. You know,
right.
A guy I worked with said, "Oh, your taste will mature," as if what I was feeling at the moment wasn't valid. Yeah, he was going to determine that. Yeah, when you reached enlightenment, like me, then you will know what is good music. You know.
You know. You can keep this or cut it out, but it reminds me of like when I hear, like, if I'm talking to a religious person, like if we're disagreeing politically, you know, I'm like, oh, you know, someday, Uncle Steve, you'll become a left winger, you'll see the truth. you know?
Yeah, that instantly, yep, the fingers come up automatically. It's like, no, don't. Even if it's true, right?
Right. And nobody wants to hear that. That's not a good approach. I found that out the hard way sometimes, you know.
I did too.
You probably heard them all. I only listen to people who play clips of Fox News and usually criticize or make fun of them.
I do not listen to news. I wait for the text from your Uncle Jim, and then I base all my facts on that.
Well, that's all you need to know, really. I mean,
that's what I think.
Well, I mean, what's your opinion on the war? Fuck Putin. I mean,
right. How could you say it any better than that?
I couldn't. I can't think of a better way.
Back in the day, he used to be able to hit a little jump shot from the back alley of the home I grew up in. And he used to think that he was so good because he could hit that little jump shot. His left foot got up about 1.5 inches, and he called that a jump shot.
Well, I mean, technically, It's above the ground, right?
He hit that shot all the time, and it would kill us. You know, the little kids would come around the game, and he'd kick the ball down the alley and tell us we weren't cool enough to be in his group to play. It was when bullying was cool and fun.
Back when all these people weren't so woke.
Yeah, I didn't
Bully people, and they wouldn't cry about it.
He's part of the reason I am who I am, because he was tough on me.
Well, there you go. We all need adversity and challenges to get through, right?
Absolutely.
Mold us.
Would you look at, baby? It's bright with purple skies. Promise everything gonna be alright. I promise everything gonna be alright. Try everything gonna be alright. Baseline. Oh, I wanna know.